let's just sew whatever.
Hello everybody, today we are making the Aries crossbody from Knotted Threads Co. into a wristlet. I have modified it to add a slip pocket inside and card slots inside, so I hope you will join me in making this. I do have a video cutting it out and explaining how I do it, but let's get into sewing it. Starting with the zipper, we are going to be turning the ends at a 90-degree angle. You can do this with whichever method you prefer. You're also going to cut your zipper tape to the length given in the pattern. And you're folding the excess zipper tape to the back. So Shannon has a method that she likes to use, which is definitely a great method. I'm so used to doing this, and I'm quick and good at this. Well, or so I thought. But you can use double-sided tape as well to hold these together, which is kind of fun. I like to use the melt method. Okay, and then we have our zipper end here. I'm just taking a lighter to the back to singe any fraying. And then I'm going to use 2 little pieces of double-sided tape on that topmost edge and bottommost edge. And then we'll wrap that around. And sew that into place. Okay, yep, good size. All right, so now I'm going to work on my D-ring connector, may as well. I'll want to get that kind of basted in place so I don't forget it. If you are using like a pop tab pull that I carry on my website, or just any zipper pull that's big enough to fit a snap hook, you really don't need a D-ring connector, but I'm gonna do it anyway. And this is just gonna get sewn into the side seam, so it's way bigger than I need it to be, but I would prefer it if I can help it. And I just need a snap hook and a D-ring. So I'm gonna clip this together, and we're probably gonna put it somewhere like here. Looks good. All right, setting that aside for now, we're gonna work on the inside of our wristlet. So we're gonna start with the card slots. I do have a video cutting this out where I'll explain everything a little bit better, but basically we've created a large slip pocket here and 4 card slots, which will hold 8 cards. So I'm unclipping back here, and I'm gonna start top stitching my card slots. And you want to make sure that you're folding the top one out of the way as you top stitch the next. Okay. All right, and now here is where we then want to top stitch just a certain amount. So we really only want to go to where that dividing line is. So I'm going to fold this here to create that line there. Hopefully you can see where I've creased it. And then at 4 inches, starting at the top here, that's where we want to start. And we'll just sew all those card slots together, stopping at that mark we made. Then we'll fold that back up. There we go. And now we'll add our sides. And I had mentioned in my cutting video, I'm going to move this up just a little bit because I cut my sides way longer than they needed to be. And I want to make sure that I have plenty of room from the top edge for my cards to sit away from the zipper. And I'm using a 3/8 inch seam allowance to put that all together. And in my cutting video, I explained how I use any card, but they'll fit perfectly. That one's a little low, but it's okay. That one's pretty good too. It's all good. Okay. So then I'll top stitch this side here. All the way down. This is not at all written within the pattern. It is my own adaptation. And I'm using methods from like the NCW, Wallet from Emmeline, and I'm using some methods used from KR Threads in some of her patterns. So there's that. And then we'll lay the template piece and cut the excess. Now I'm going to make my slip pocket. This could also be a zippered pocket inside if you would prefer, but I think this will be just dandy. I'm going to use that. This probably could have been a little bit taller. That's okay. The lining fabric I'm using is water resistant canvas. And that is available on my website. I want to add a little woven label. All right, so I'm gonna go grab my template piece just to show you, but I am gonna go to my cutting table and use a rotary cutter. See how we can just lay that to place. You could even create lines or center marks, but there's that, and we'll just cut off the excess. And then for this here, I can line my card slots up in the center. Yeah, that looks great. So then we'll just cut off all this excess. I could have definitely made these side panels shorter, but just to account for any seam allowance you use, rather be safe than sorry. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut these. So there's that side and this side. It's a little close at the top, but I think it'll be fine. It's so cute. All right, just to get it out of the way and so it's ready when the wristlet's done, I'm gonna go ahead and work on the crossbody, wristlet strap. So I made my mark down the center. This is cut to 2 inches wide, which will create a 1/2 inch strap. And I don't mind raw ends on my wristlets. I'm just gonna fold it over anyway, so I'm not super concerned. If you wanted to, you could even kind of fold this in, since this vinyl is thin enough. And we'll cut the excess away. Ooh. I'm gonna cut it like that and just cut away the excess underneath. Then we'll fold it in half and top stitch around. And then, so this would be my finished edge. I'll slide this through, and then I'd fold this over and add a rivet through that, just right there. That's my favorite, that's my preferred way. With my wristlet strap done, I'm going to tape my lining side. Oh yeah, I need a nameplate on the outside. I always struggle. Do I want a cork tag or do I want a metal tag? I just love the cork tags so much. These are from Heartwood and Hide. This one's actually a hand-painted leather. Feels a bit stiff for this bag in particular, but I think it'll be super cute. All right, so this is gonna be my front. No, that'll be my back because the zipper zips this way. And I'm making sure to tie my threads off on the back I don't know why I'm doing this right now instead of waiting till we get to the end, but here we are. So I'm pulling my threads to the back. I did my absolute best to make sure I got the needle in the hole. Perfect. So I'm going to start on this side because I want my zipper to zip up toward my D-ring. And you can find your centers if you need, but you want your zipper to kind of start at the little dip and then kind of end at the little dip. What did you call me? Make sure there's no puckering. Okay. And I think I want my card slots on the back. That's going to create a lot of bulk. I'd rather that be to the back. You can baste this into place now if you prefer, but I'm going to go ahead and just add my lining. Lining all of that up, pinching together. And then we're going to use a 3/8 inch seam allowance, or as close as possible. I'm going to go ahead and baste this guy down too. If you can only do 1/4 of an inch, that is fine too. Just try to be consistent on both sides then. I'm adding a little relief snip only in my vinyl. I don't know why I'm doing this. Something just tells me I should. But I am not going to be top stitching through my lining, only my exterior the entire way. And so I'm kind of pulling on everything. To make sure everything is as far out from that seam. And then I'll kind of press and roll everything down. Make sure it sits nicely. If you would prefer to sew through your lining, make sure that you're only doing zipper tab to zipper tab through the lining so that when you're putting everything together, your fabrics can lay flat and apart from each other. Okay, so we'll repeat all that on the other side. Okay, kind of lining up the edges. And I am pulling on the zipper just slightly, just ever so slightly, to make sure it sits nicely. And then make sure these start and stop in a similar location. It could be that pulling on the zipper might be to my detriment. We shall see in the end. Whoop. Okay. And then this is where I have to remember I've got a little difference in my lining pieces where they join together. I should have cut that just literally 1/8 of an inch bigger. That's okay though. So that 3/8 inch seam allowance to start and continue on. Just gonna hit that one more time. There we go. My seam allowance was a little inconsistent. And then again, like right where it pivots, that's where I'm just adding a tiny little relief snip so it stretches better. Not through anything but my exterior vinyl. Pulling on the lining fabric, separating it from the lining. Oh my goodness, so cute. And so this is where the method of not sewing through the lining comes in handy, so that these sides can sit super flush together and you're not going to have weird bulky corners in the end. Okay, and then we need to leave an opening in the lining to turn the bag through. Definitely could have done like a little zipper pocket or something, but that's okay. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to walk into the lining. I'm going to use 3/8 inch seam allowance in the lining and then go to 1/4 of an inch as I go to the outside. So I did not interface my exterior fabric because the lining is thick enough and I didn't want to add too much bulk. Okay. So I'm at 3/8 and then I'm slowly switching to 1/4. And this is so that my exterior is a little bit bigger than my lining, and my lining can sit really snug inside of all that. All right, so I'm getting close to my lining, so I'm going to switch back to that 3/8 inch. As I get past that, I'm going to walk out. And then I'm just going to trim the lining. If you don't trim at the zipper, you might also experience bulk there. I'm going to trim this down a little bit, but not a lot. And so I've got that sewn into place, basted here and sewn there. If you want to sew it even more, you can. Just don't go overboard, because then you risk perforating it. We don't want that. Some people like to tape or glue this little area. You could if you wanted. I'm just gonna knot everything one more time, if I can. It's fine. Okay, time to turn it. Unzip my zipper. And you want to push your lining through first. If you're using a thicker vinyl, you may want to trim the curve or add little monster teeth cutouts or use pinking shears to the curves here. But this vinyl is stretchy enough, I think. It's okay. So I'm just pressing it out. And push into that corner until that springs out. And this side shouldn't be too much of a problem. Okay. All right, and here is where we're going to sew this shut. Probably should have moved that slip pocket up maybe so that there is less bulk, but the seam is just going to add stability to the exterior there, so I'm not super worried about it. And then if you were to add a zipper pocket to this, that would be how you could turn the wristlet as well if you'd rather. And we'll just stick it in. Everything fits so nicely. It's so cute. So here's a big slip pocket you could put your money or phone into, card slots, another little slip pocket here, and you can just kind of massage everything together. So stretching my zipper did not hurt me. I don't see, well, it's a little wavy, but not too bad. But I'm really happy with how this turned out. I kind of want to make more. I think I've got my orientations a little flipped. I should have added my name here, but it's still super, super cute. I might have to make a ton of these. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you so much to Shannon for creating such a fun shape with lots of inspiration and an all-around incredible pattern, and I will see you all later. Bye!